Hey, what's up, folks? Thanks for watching Racing Envy. I'm Will Brown. Today we're going to be talking about Porsche's recent project, the Porsche 963 RSP. Now, when this car was first announced, I was pretty excited. I was just like, okay, Porsche is coming out with a new hypercar. Okay, they're trying to finally put out there another limited production, only the few billionaires in the world can buy hypercar. That's pretty exciting. Can't wait to see what it can go up against and what it can just demolish. But no. What we have here is more of a branding exercise. So basically, Porsche released the 963 RSP, which has been commissioned by Team Penske's owner, Roger Penske, as you can see in the abbreviation RSP, Roger Cyril Penske, who we can see here chilling with Elmo outside the frame. So it was between him and three key people among the Porsche and the Team Penske that were able to go ahead and come together, put great minds together and work on this great car, which is a road-going version of the hypercar, or of the prototype car that's featured in IMSA and WEC, and it is basically a direct transfer, minus a few things like the suspension dampening, how the hybrid power comes on, and also the throttle response to make it more suitable for street use. But the power's all there, the torque's all there. Now, the power in the road car is pretty much the same as what is in the race car, which is a 638 horsepower twin-turbo V8 hybrid, which started out as a 4.6-liter naturally aspirated V8 in the 918 Spyder years ago, and before that, it started out life as a 3.4-liter V8 in the RS Spyder LMP car. Now, we all didn't know what was coming a few months ago when Porsche started teasing this 917 that came out way back in the 1970s, which in the case of the 917 really isn't a homologated car. Neither is the 963 RSP a homologated car like the Porsche 911 GT1. But much more interesting is the 917 was actually a one-off car as well, which was actually commissioned by a certain Gregorio Rossi di Montelera, better known as Count Rossi. He did race, even though not in cars. He raced in bobsleds and powerboats, as you would imagine a rich individual would. But he's just not any type of rich, casual race lover. He was actually heir to the Martini Rossi fortune, which started out as a bottling company and then moved into fine liquors like vermouth and sparkling wine. But earlier on in that company's existence, it started sponsoring motor racing and became one of the biggest sponsors in the history of motor racing from then on, from the late 60s. So, what to do when you're a huge sponsor for racing and you love racing itself? You say, hey, one of those race cars, give me one please, thank you very much. So Porsche obliged. It took one of their 917 race cars that were out of commission for racing. They took it back to the factory, repurposed it as a road car, put all the regulatory seasonings on it, and then gave it back to the Count Rossi, and then he was able to drive it around France and enjoy it with his family. But the story doesn't stop there. We come back to the year 2025, and here we are with Porsche teasing the 917 in its road car form, of which are only one of course we know that. And lo and behold, they have something up their sleeve. We've got the 963 RSP. Well, why does the car exist? Well, for one, this would be pretty cool if it were Porsche's new hypercar, but as we see in a few details in a little bit, it probably will remain a one-off hypercar. and be only available to the Penske family and remain in the Penske family. Just like the 917 remains in the south of France, driven every now and again and spotted by some very lucky individuals that just happen to be taking a bicycle ride down the highway. But for all we know, the 917 could be owned by Jerry frickin' Seinfeld, and he has a nice little chateau over in France, and that's just what he does every fall. Drive his 917 in south of France in complete anonymity. But going back to the 963, well, why does it exist? Well, if we look at a few things, Timo Resch, the current president of Porsche Cars of North America, has only been in this position for about a year and a half, and before that he started off his career as a development engineer for Porsche, which he moved on from there onto marketing and research positions, and then left for Audi, then going to BMW, and then moving up to their BMW M Group for brand sales, and finally moving on to his current position as the president and CEO of Porsche Cars North America. So pretty much an all-out sales and marketing strategist and leader. So as we can see, this is firmly positioned as just a branding exercise for Porsche to establish itself again as a leader in sports and motorsport, and also for brand awareness. Now, as far as the Team Penske side of the fence, their current motorsport managing director was also involved in making this car happen. Now, for Roger Penske himself and Team Penske, which he owns, he is one of, if not the leading contributor in motorsport in the past 100 years. Since Team Penske's introduction in, I believe it was 1968, they've had wins in Formula One, Can-Am, Trans Am, ALMS, IMSA, and Australian Supercars. This is definitely a pretty nice honor to Penske in the breadth of motorsports and his involvement, since back in 1961 Roger Penske himself brought home the win for Porsche in his first professional race at Le Mans in the Porsche 917. Now, even though the Porsche 963 RSP is road legal, it's barely. The car is fitted on the exterior with some differentiating aero, which would be suitable for the roads and road requirements, as well as the slotted vents over the wheels to, I don't know, stop from sucking in cats and birds, as well as proper headlights and taillights, road-approved wheels and tires, and the interior has been appointed by this nice luscious leather by a little company by the name of Hermes. But it really doesn't use a key, but I guess if this is a one-off race car, that's kind of the standard. Like the 917, you have to use a startup sequence just to start the car of switches and levers, and in this case for the 963 RSP, you have to use a laptop in conjunction with those, and boom, you have a nice little entertainment to go with your sip of coffee while you're sitting in the car before your morning drive on Sunday. Now, even though this car is road legal, it is only permittable by the local authority or authorities of the jurisdiction that you're driving in, such as this 963. They had to get local permits just to drive this thing on the road. So if you want to drive it anywhere, you have to go ahead and lobby for that bad boy. I know every one of you are thinking, oh man, I want to see this at Pebble Beach or my local Cars and Coffee. What am I to do? Well, even though this car is not available for purchase, they put a Porsche mug in it as a wink to our fans that even though you can't get the race car, you can buy this swag at the merch store.